This is a news update for Medellin Colombia by Luis, our group moderator. He's in Colombia now. Follow along.
Hey, you watching, man? Right now, you're watching dcbornrob on YouTube.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as DC Born Rob. DC Rob, I answer to them all. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this is going to be a news update, and it's going to be done by Luis, who is our group moderator if you're in our private group. If you're not in our private group and you travel to Medellin, Colombia, you may want to join. Shoot me your WhatsApp number and your name to dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. That's dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, and I'll get you in. But Luis is our moderator there. He travels to Colombia so much. I asked him to fill in on the updated news reports for me. So I'm going to jump into that in a second. But again, if you ever get any benefit out of my videos, do me a favor, go down and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to be alerted of any new videos, and like. Like helps the YouTube algorithm. The more you hit like, the more people get to see these videos. So let's just jump into the news now. Again, this is by Luis, who is our group moderator, who's going to be reading the news for us for this week and in the future as well.
Hey all, this is Luis, also known as NY Marine 21, group moderator for DC Born Rob Colombia bound group. Just here to give you the most recent travel news updates that may or may not affect you, but it's good to know. The first report comes out of Medellin, and this one involves sexual exploitations amongst children. Basically, there's been cases of child sexual exploitation that has been alerted to the Ombudsman's office in Medellin. Among the evidence that has been given to the Ombudsman's office are audios in which denounce that in many cases children and adolescents are sexually exploited under threats in homes near Yarrows Park. In some cases, say the complainants, who ask for anonymity, minors are kidnapped from schools in the city. This type of sexual violence, mainly against girls and adolescents, would have increased at the recent flower festival, also known as the Feria de las Flores, which is, for those who are avid visitors of Medellin, is quite popular every year. The entity called on the local and national authorities to carry out joint work to investigate these cases and prosecute those responsible. The Ombudsman office added that, in addition to prosecuting the structures that equip minors for these practices, the same must also be done with those who come and demand these services. So this is important to know. A lot of travelers do head down there for obvious reasons, mainly Medellin. As you will know, that a lot of the high-end Airbnb condo facilities are always actively searching for children in danger of sexual exploitation. The second report also comes out of Medellin. This one involves the area of San Antonio de Prado, which is southwest of Medellin, past Itagüí. This one involves the weather, actually. The weather has been a little crazy with the rain lately. Apparently, there has been an issue where people have been evacuated and bridges have been affected, and has put that area in a state of emergency. The emergency recorded in San Antonio de Prado due to the rains affected a total of 57 inhabitants of that district in the southwest of Medellin. The rains began at about 8 p.m. on Wednesday, September 7th, and generated the overflow of La Chorrera, La Manguala, and La Maria ravines. It was also triggered by the fall of trees and flooding of 45 homes and public roads, in addition to effects on bridges and electrical networks. One of the affected bridges is the one that leads to La Florida neighborhood and the San Jose Obrero Educational Institute that caused damages that was 3 meters deep and at a track level. If you don't know, San Antonio de Prado has been talked about 2 months ago. There was a landslide, a little too close to home since it's right next to Itagüí, Medellin. So, as any other place, one must be using a lot of the situational awareness in terms of their surroundings, and that includes weather issues. Next reports involve Jamaica. Jamaica will require travelers to basically fill out a new travel form just to visit. Visiting Jamaica from the U.S., Americans will soon be encouraged to fill out a new travel form online prior to their flight. Even though the country has no health-related entry requirements in place, earlier this year, the Paradise Island took a U-turn and ceased demanding vaccination or the pre-departure test of incoming tourists. And while the darker days of COVID are well behind us, some bureaucratic measures look to set to remain in place. This is nothing new. Well, basically what they'll be requiring of Americans and, of course, and many other travelers is that you just fill out a health form that generates a QR code, and this health form relates to COVID-19. I know that the Dominican Republic has such a form that has been in place for the past 2 years, and now it's a little more smoother. But basically, it's very, very basic. You just put you apply to the answers on the questions and produce a QR code, I believe, to the airline agents or the immigration officers upon entry of the country. Next report takes us back to Medellin, Colombia. This one involves taxi drivers in Medellin that took to the streets to raise their voice of protest against the platforms that offer transport services. In other words, Uber. The mobilization began at 8 a.m. on Thursday. Well, today's in the vicinity of Jumbo, as the Colombians call it, at 65. At that time, several yellow cabs began at the meeting point. From there, they left in a caravan on several roads. Due to the demonstration, there was a chaos in mobility, and it is that some roads, such as San Juan with the Ferrocarril Avenue, were blocked by the professional drivers at the steering wheel. According to a spokesman for the Taxi Drivers Unidos de Medellin, this protest was made all over the world because of difficulties experienced by taxi drivers. This is not something new. There has been other protests around the world against Uber drivers. I guess the taxis believe or feel that their services or income is being affected due to on-demand platforms such as Uber. Yes, it's an important highlight. Uber is technically not legal in Colombia, in Medellin especially, but they do operate and they do operate freely with no issues. It's just that sometimes I believe that the government and Uber are basically locking horns. The government says that they haven't paid any taxes. However, Uber claims that the taxes are basically responsible of individual drivers, since it's considered a small business. But they do operate. You may be asked, if arriving in Medellin, to meet them at the upstairs entry point. But they're actually the most reliable source of transportation, if my opinion. The next report basically involves the worst airports in the U.S. for delays and cancellations this summer. According to reports, the flight cancellation rate for the Labor Day holiday weekend was 0.6%, a substantial drop from the summer average of 2.2% from Memorial Day weekend in late May through September 1st, according to data from FlightAware. Here are the U.S. airports with the highest percentage of flight delays: Chicago International, Baltimore International, Orlando, John F. Kennedy, Harry Reid International in Las Vegas, Newark Liberty International, Dallas Love Field Airport, Dallas Fort Worth, Denver International, and Charlotte Douglas International. In the top 10 U.S. airports with the highest percentages of flights canceled is Newark Liberty International, LaGuardia International, Reagan.
So I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you go down and hit subscribe. And definitely like. It helps that YouTube algorithm. You know what I'm talking about? See what I'm saying?
We have a YouTube channel. Like it.
Please comment and share if you liked the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.